Hi guys, in my latest video I showed you how I organize long-term memory for GPT-4. One of its components is a list of skills that enables integration with services and devices, and that's what we'll focus on in this episode. We already know that for every query I send to Alice, the intention is recognized, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos. This classification allows for more precise selection of memories for generating a response. When a query is identified as an action, additional logic is triggered to perform the task. But before that happens, Alice needs to decide which task to execute and prepare the necessary data based on the instructions. Because interaction with Alice takes into account the conversation context, it is necessary to consider not only the current query, but also the ongoing conversation. To make things even more complicated and at the same time more natural, Alice can also use an available database to retrieve additional information needed for her actions. As you can see here, a regular message is classified as a query. In this case, Alice's memories can be used to generate a response. However, when a message contains a command, such as playing music, Alice searches its list of skills and memories about me. Then she connects to Spotify, plays the given title, and finally she informs me about the action taken. Choosing an action is such an important task that OpenAI provides a special model which specializes in this. The general concept is to provide the context that will be used to select an action and prepare the values of its arguments. As a result, we receive a response with information about which function to execute and what we need to pass to it. In my case, I searched for a shortlist of actions using embedding and a vector database. In the database, I store names, descriptions, URLs, and the parameters they accept. I stored the parameters directly as a JSON object. The shortlist is then sent as a query to the mentioned model. Next, a remote action is executed, which always returns a response. Its content is added to the conversation as a second system message with an additional instruction requesting a paraphrase of the returned message. As a result, Alice informs me in her own words about what just happened. Now let's take a look at how it looks from the code perspective. Upon receiving a query, Alice simultaneously performs several actions. One of them is recognizing the intention. After completing them, the conversation building stage begins, which involves gathering memories and previous messages. When an additional task needs to be performed, Alice searches her skills to find the ones that are most relevant to the query. In the meantime, context is also gathered in the form of memories, notes, or web search results. This leads us to the point where Alice makes a decision about choosing an action and its parameters. Sometimes a query may be interpreted as an action, but there are no associated skills. In such cases, the default actions becomes no action, which simply ignores further execution of logic and continue to default response generation. Otherwise, the task will be executed and the response from the remote action will be added to the conversation with a request for paraphrasing. The end result is that when I ask Alice for a list of a few Metallica songs, I get a response after a while. Then I can ask to play one of them, and the action responsible for playing it on my computer will be executed. Awesome! To sum up, executing actions by Alice is part of the logic responsible for generating responses. The key elements are intention recognition, selecting a shortlist of actions, choosing one of them, generating parameters using function calling, taking into account the broader context, actually performing the task, and informing about it. The biggest challenge lies in recognizing action based on the broader context. Sometimes during a conversation there may be a mention of a task, but it doesn't necessarily have to be performed by Alice. It's important to keep this in mind and handle it, usually through a detailed prompt or additional logic to verify the correctness of the decision made. When designing such systems, it is also important to ensure a low response time. That's why some actions are executed in a parallel to make the query as fast as possible. And for this video, it would be all. If you've got any question about function calling or other Alice logic stuff, I'm here in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos.